been psyched for the next big film only to fall asleep halfway through it?
Hey, you good?
I am good, yeah.
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 badly executed movies that had potential.
Studied in Canada for a while.
Canada?
Montreal.
Oh, no.
For this list, we're taking a look at films that seemed like a great idea at the time, but didn't quite pan out, giving us big screen results that were less than stellar.
I think we deserve some champagne.
Number 10, The Last Airbender.
I don't think that's a good idea.
The TV series Avatar: The Last Airbender was beloved for its engaging storyline and interesting characters.
Why are you smiling at me like that?
I was smiling?
So it stands to reason that a live-action adaptation of the animated series would, or should, be super awesome. Unfortunately, M. Night Shyamalan saw this as an opportunity to further his crusade against all that is good.
I don't want to hurt anyone.
All airbenders should be dead. Kill him!
Condensing a full season into a little more than an hour and a half of incoherent plot structure, plus characterizations that were chewed up and spit out into a completely indigestible form, irritated both fans and casual moviegoers alike.
Why are you acting this way? You are powerful and amazing people. You don't need to live like this. There's Earth right beneath your feet. The ground is an extension of who you are.
Guess that's just what happens when you entrust great source material to the guy who disappointed everyone with The Village.
Sometimes we don't do things we want to do so that others won't know we want to do them.
Number 9, The Monuments Men.
But if you destroy their achievements, their history, then it's like they never existed.
While a movie about art historians and museum directors trying to preserve paintings during World War II might seem like a thrilling romp, The Monuments Men ended up being a disappointing 2-hour snooze fest.
Yesterday, we found 16,000 pieces of stolen art buried in a German copper mine. It seems the Nazis took better care of paintings than they did people.
A star-studded cast of Hollywood's elite couldn't save this war drama, and actually only slowed the film down when time had to be allotted to each character's story.
Can you stop speaking in French? Whatever language you're speaking.
Although there are some interesting action bits in it, nothing of any substance really happens, and viewers just have to sit back and watch as they're taken on a slow ride to the credits.
This seems to be a bit of a problem.
Number 8, In Time.
If I had all that time, I sure as hell wouldn't waste it.
An intriguing premise and timely cast made this movie a hot commodity before its release. Unfortunately, In Time added up to nothing more than an interesting idea with no real substance.
How old are you? In real time?
28.
I'm 105.
The movie sets up an alternate future, where the amount of time you have left to live is also currency. But too much of the first half of its runtime is spent setting up this confusing premise, which eventually devolves into a Bonnie and Clyde-esque adventure.
They won't jump.
So much for your theory.
Justin Timberlake and Amanda Seyfried head up the movie's fresh-faced cast, but neither convincingly pulls off their roles. Audiences were left confused and slightly bored by this sci-fi misfire.
Called a trigger. And you don't pull it until you actually want to shoot something.
Number 7, Hancock.
You broke my glasses!
Will Smith brings charm, comedy, and a little something extra to all of his roles. So audiences tend to flock to anything he's in.
What, you want a cookie? Tell on my face.
Couple that with the burgeoning superhero craze, and you got yourself a sure hit, right? Unfortunately, fans of The Fresh Prince were displeased by the lack of charm and the incoherent plot structure of Hancock.
I hate to burst your little crazy lady bubble, but it must not have been all that great, because I don't remember you.
The foremost complaint was that the superhero comedy drama starts well, but halfway through undercuts its own humorous premise and introduces a wobbly love triangle.
Why were you flying? You were flying, Mary.
Yeah, she was definitely flying.
The special effects and superpowered action weren't enough to carry the movie across the finish line. And what we're left with was an uninteresting mess.
You're all idiots.
Number 6, Alien vs. Predator.
7 seasons on the ice and I've never seen a gun save someone's life. I don't plan on using it.
It's the moment fans have all been waiting for. In this corner is the extraterrestrial plague that bursts from your chest with its extra sharp claws and spits horrible acid that can melt your face and pretty much anything else. In the other corner is the space-traveling prize hunter that can make itself invisible and which kills badass commandos for breakfast. Sadly, the two alien adversaries also had to contend with subpar directing, B-movie acting, and a distinct lack of epic battles.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
A simplistic script and bad lighting didn't help either, and fans were left yawning sleepily at what could have been an amazing showdown.
Don't turn your back on me.
Number 5. The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Would you like to learn how to shoot?
An epic comic book anthology created by one of the most influential comic book writers of all time, and Sean Connery as an adventure-seeking legend grouped with the most badass literary characters of all time. That's gotta be a surefire recipe for a comic book adaptation if ever there was one, right? Wrong.
Then what good are you?
The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, or LXG as it's lovingly referred to by no one, was a critical flop when it came out, as it treated the audience to a condensed storyline that became incoherent and lacked any semblance of character development.
They're indestructible! No, just armor-plated.
Somewhere in a deep magical cave, Alan Moore is probably still cursing Hollywood.
Bon voyage.
Number 4. Transcendence.
Maybe it was all inevitable. An unavoidable collision between mankind and technology.
How does that old saying go? You don't bring a cinematographer to a director fight? Something like that.
Writing a paper is one thing. I'm wondering what's in your heart.
Well, that time-worn adage has proven itself true once again with this half-hearted attempt at a science fiction brain teaser.
These people are suffering, Evelyn. They have no hope. And I'm able to fix them.
While the story asks a lot of questions about the future of computer science and artificial intelligence, it never puts forth any satisfactory answers. Instead, it leads the viewer on a narrative goose chase that doesn't resolve itself.
No, Will, this is wrong. These are my thoughts. These are my feelings. You're not allowed!
Familiar and well-loved faces fill all the main roles, but the actors struggle to keep up with the disjointed storyline, giving Transcendence the awkward feel of a B-movie sci-fi.
Some scientists refer to this as the singularity. I call it transcendence.
Number 3. Cowboys and Aliens.
I said drop them!
In this American-Canadian production, the director of Iron Man, the early 21st century James Bond, and the legendary Han Solo come together to give you an epic tale of Wild West action and extraterrestrial mayhem.
You're going with us. I need that weapon. It's the only thing that counts.
Producers must have been patting themselves on the back for developing and releasing this sure-to-be a blockbuster film. Alas, the whole was not nearly as rousing as the sum of its parts. Cowboys and Aliens made less sense than its title, opting not to take advantage of the tropes of either genre, and instead focusing on a group of characters that were just as lost as the audience. The potential was there, but the execution was lacking.
Sheriff, this is going too far. I was just fooling around.
Number 2. Waterworld.
Don't just stand there! Kill something!
It was the mid-90s, and no one could wait to see the next big Kevin Costner flick. On top of that, Waterworld had a huge budget and was reportedly being filmed on the ocean on a super expensive set.
This is my boat. I got it the way I like it. Take up space and you slow me down.
Sadly, bloated, incomprehensible, and waterlogged, this ambitious Kevin Costner classic seemed like it aimed to please almost no one, which would be refreshing, except that it achieved this goal pretty spectacularly.
It doesn't exist!
Well, how can you be so sure?
Because I've sailed farther than most have dreamed.
From long before its release, whispers surfaced of the film's increasing budget and production setbacks.
So what's it worth? We trading or not?
We'll tally it like pure hydro.
Those whispers turned to screams when what was originally a $100 million film ballooned into an almost $175 million flop.
Golly gee, a single tear rolls down my cheek.
Before we unveil our #1 pick, here are some honorable mentions.
Would you please be so kind as to hit the ground, if it's not too much trouble?
Why are you walking? I mean, I know Tokyo pretty well. I got a lot of jump sites here.
You know what? I like walking for a change. It makes me feel normal.
Whatever they call it. The slice of a second out there is the difference between living and dying.
I will serve you in your campaign until I am dead, or you have a victory.
But we're gonna make it through tonight, all right? We will. And everything is gonna be okay.
It's not gonna be okay.
#1, Sucker Punch.
Remember, ladies, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything.
Up until 2011, Zack Snyder's directorial credits included Dawn of the Dead and 300.
This is Sparta!
Needless to say, fans of epic action extravaganzas were looking forward to this Japan-influenced ultra flick.
It's not gonna be, oh, sorry, Blue, we won't do it again because we'll be dead. We're already dead.
But buried under strata of bad CGI and even worse acting is what could have been an interesting story of a helpless girl who's unable to deal with reality and succumbs to psychotic episodes in which she is a powerful heroine.
This was never my story. It's yours.
Instead, we're left with something like an incoherent visual tone poem that fails to impart any sense of emotional depth, all thanks to Snyder's distinct inability to deal with story structure and character development.
You'll never have me. Ever.
Do you agree with our list?
Good job. Really good job.
What badly executed movie do you think had potential?
I don't need to tell you anything.
For more epic top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
So when do we start?